for another bit of the patch notes then, and this is only multiple years too late, but it is a good change. There is actually no patch note, we noticed, talking about the keystone depletion NPC in Oribos. But there is a keystone depletion NPC in Oribos. So there you go. You can deplete your keystones manually now without having to do the very funky thing of purposefully running into and failing dungeons, which is a bit of a funky thing to be going on. So I'm glad that they've done that with the key depletion. With Mythic Plus, there's actually quite a few other updates, most of which do seem to be good.
Yes.
Which is good. And we'll certainly add that to them. I suppose the other thing we can talk about then is Mythic Plus item levels. Those have came out. There are some slight differences. And there's also something I would like to point out that player much better than I, Mandel, who's a Wowhead guide writer for I believe Blood DKs, pointed out with M+, that was quite interesting. So, item level changes in Mythic Plus. You need to do plus 15s instead of plus 14s to cap out your big box at the end of the week. And the same goes... Oh, wait, yes. 14s are the same for end of dungeon?
Yes.
Did I not read that separately in Wowhead like 20 minutes ago? Have I lost my marbles?
Yeah, it's 236 at end of dungeon for 14s and 15s, and then it's 249 from 14s Grid Vault and 252 from Grid Vault 15s.
Yeah. So that's a bit funky, whatever, but I actually think that Mythic Plus 15 for, the best gear does make sense. It's a little bit harder, but I don't really... makes sense.
No, I guess the question is, and this is something I've genuinely forgotten, you do a 15, what's the next key you get next week? Do you get a 15 again? Or do you get a 14? I remember there's a change, and I completely forgot.
Same. The other thing then I want to talk about, because it does cover all of this. We can probably do this and our Mythic Plus buff and nerf section all at the same time anyway. Right. So you get your Mythic Plus item upgrades based on your Mythic Plus rating.
You do, yes.
Now, previously, it was based on those achievements, which was what? Plus 10s and plus 15s?
Yes, it was, yeah.
Right. Now remember that whole thing about Keystone Master taking longer to get in this patch because of how the rating system works, where you'll need to do dungeons both tyrannical and fortified. Well, that actually applies to your gearing as well. That was pointed out to me by Mandel, and I totally didn't notice it because Mythic Plus is generally not on my radar. But yes, that actually does mean that for a bunch of the casual side, that their gearing will actually be a decent bit slower, because in the same way that it's going to take longer to get KSM, it is going to take longer to get the maximum tier of M+ item upgrades. Which, is that good? Is that bad? I actually wonder how much it'll matter to some people, because, it's just that thing of, like, Mythic Plus gear and Valor. Are you really going to be spending VP on week 1? On your week 1 drops? No. You're going to be waiting until you're getting high keys with high item levels, so you can then upgrade those. That's how the system works.
I think the general pacing of Valor upgrades, as far as I can reason it out, because I didn't engage very much with it because I was finished by the time 9.0.5 was out. But I feel like the Valor stuff is not intended as a primary source of progression, but it's much more fill in slots or get your bits and then upgrade them later, when you're kind of out of bothering to try and farm at a higher item level. So I feel like people will be mostly gearing, they'll likely be getting their 14, 15, 13 gear, and then the Great Vault gear from 15s, and then upgrading a little bit after that, likely, more than anything else. So I can't imagine it being a massive problem, because, especially if the upgrades take more effort, because it's probably a lot faster to start doing. Yeah, but
I don't mean that in a disparaging.
Yeah, even then it's it's probably handier to go from doing a couple of easier 10s to doing a couple of easier 14s and 15s than it is to bother doing a whole wave of 10s across everything to unlock the upgrade. So I imagine it's the kind of thing where it's not massively important. I don't know if it'll affect casuals significantly more, because I imagine casuals are more focused on getting Great Vault gear than they are from going and getting Bisson, etc, etc, etc.
Yeah, so that's another little quirk of the gearing and how it's changing this patch. Yep. Now the other thing then, pre-made group finder. So
yes, sir.
There are some changes. This is, I think, mainly a big thing for M+ people. I guess there's also like PvPers using it too. But basically, if you don't get a spot because it fills up, it will say full instead of decline, so that you do not feel sad. You can now label and sort things by war mode status, which is definitely good. Silence people cannot search or apply for active groups, which I guess I think does make sense, assuming the silencing system is one that functions well and is not overly abusable, which hopefully it is not, but I do not know. And then a group automatically delists and cannot create a group finder listing if there's a silence player in the group. So,
cool.
Certainly going into those silence things. Now that's it.
Yeah, where's the rest of it?
Just put in rating. What should there be now that we have rating, Matt?
Everything else. Literally everything else. Like, where's the fact? Where's it? It's not filterable by key level. It's not. You still can't see full compositions.
Yep.
And as I have down here, it's like if you want players to think about how to play the game correctly, if you want players to be thinking about group composition, thinking about what's in a group before they join it, what they need, then you need to be able to look at a group and go, oh, I fit that one.
Yeah.
Or even just the score of other people in the group, because the leader score is like, you don't know if the leader is someone who is like really shit or really low, like they've got a low mythic rating and they've got a load of people to boost them, but they're the leader. Or if it's the other way around and you've got someone leading with a really high score and they actually have a bunch of like people who aren't very experienced with them. You can't tell that. And some of that's probably kind of fair because of the general idea of if you just won't join a group if anyone is too low because you'll assume failure. So it's that kind of thing of just show people the information, let them make their own decisions, and then like solve problems of game design. Don't try to obscure or obfuscate information in the UI and hope that solves problems.
And then there's a big one too.
Yeah.
Why can we not filter out WTS?
Oh, that's the biggest one.
Like, why are we in a situation where, and this is what's important, because there's all of us people who know all of this shit. There's going to be new players who enter the game and they open the group finder, which is like the intended way to find a group because it's called a group finder.
That's what it's for.
Then it's there for finding groups. And then they just see spamming, just full of spam. Mm-hmm. Sellers and stuff. Why?
Well, obviously. Well, it's fairly obvious. That's... okay, this is how obvious it is. The other day, I was playing Monk, which I have basically since abandoned because I really couldn't be bothered playing anything except my highest geared character in 9.1. But I was playing a Monk, so I found like fist weaving pretty cool. I went to hop into a normal Nathra. I was like, oh, sweet, there's loads of people doing normal Nathra this time of day. That's awesome. Fantastic. Scroll down, I saw there was like 20 entries in the group finder. I was like, sweet, I'll find one of these. Oh, hang on, let me filter out the want to sell ones first. Filter. Oh, there's out of like 20 plus entries, 7 of them were people actually doing it. I'm like, cool, great. That's like the amount of visual noise makes me open the finder and go, I don't know what's going on. And then I have to take the time out to like ignore them all. And then I can do it. And it's like, it's a fairly small issue for the user experience level, but it's also like, why would you... It's so hard to get an actual group. Why would you not boost? There's so much in that. There's so much...
Because you don't want to pay gold, want to play the actual fucking game? What?
Yeah, well, if you're a goals-oriented player, you're handy you're boosting. More people are boosting than playing the game.